I think that AIOZ actually has some decent news going on for it, at least as of late. Now, let me explain why, because not too long ago, AIOZ, it got listed on Kraken. Now, why do I think this is, you know, very amazing? It's because if we take a look at Kraken, at least according to CoinMarketCap, right, in terms of top spot exchanges, it's currently top 20. So I think it is very impressive to be in that top 20 range because we have to consider, right? There's many exchanges out there, many of them, in some cases have a lot of users and whatnot. So then at the same time, the fact that Kraken is able to be in that, I think is very cool. And I think it's very interesting nonetheless. So I think it's a pretty good victory right here when it comes to AIOS. Now, granted, does AIOS have the best exchange listings of all time? No, it does not, in my opinion. But then at the same time, I still think that, especially when it comes to a project like this, making moves like that, I think it is very, I think interesting to me because I like these type of projects that continue to update, that continue to do at least something. Because some other projects out there, they kind of don't really do anything, which is, I guess, in a sense, tolerable in some cases where the team probably doesn't take it seriously, but I like it when the team does take it seriously. I like it when it has that type of vibe where it's actually being taken, again, not as a for fun thing and actually as a serious thing, if that makes sense. But even besides that, why do I think that actually being listed on an exchange, arguably, I think is better than having advertisements, let's say through an athlete or a celebrity? It's because if, let's say, I didn't know anything about, the space, I didn't know anything about projects or whatnot, and then let's say I heard my favorite celebrity or my favorite athlete say that, hey, take a look at this project and whatnot, I'd probably be like, well, what is that? I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then, if let's say, it's on an exchange, now the reason why I would probably have an exchange in the first place, let's say on my phone or whatever, right, is probably because I might be already taking a look at this space anyways. So if let's say I see a new project there, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm just going to believe in it, right? That's not the case, but maybe I will know about it, right? And maybe I research it, whatever the case may be. It would make more sense because I'm already kind of in this space anyways, if I already have an exchange, right? As opposed to hearing it from a celebrity or an athlete, which maybe I'm not in this space whatsoever, it wouldn't really make sense. So I do like this, and I think arguably it is actually maybe better in terms of getting the name out there as opposed to, again, hiring a celebrity or an athlete. This is just my perspective. Now, do I think AIOZ is a bad project? No, I do not. Even though nothing I say is financial advice when it comes to $5, that would not surprise me. And the reason why I think maybe I would arguably say AIOZ has good fundamentals is because I think the AIOZ network, I would say, has, good fundamentals. Because, for instance, the AIOZ network is a decentralized physical infrastructure network for Web3 AI, storage, and as well as streaming. Now, let's break this down because if we take a look at the AI market, it is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. Whereas if we take a look at the data storage market, like for instance, according to Fortune Business Insights, the global data storage market size is predicted to be worth nearly $800 billion by 2030. And if we take a look at, yet again, according to Grandview Research, the video streaming market size by 2030 is expected to be worth over $400 billion. So if we take a look at the three arguably main markets that AIOZ is focused on, like I mentioned before, Web3 AI, storage, also streaming, I would say that those are emerging markets right there, and I wouldn't say it's bad. Now, of course, initially when I think about AIOZ, I usually think about AI, but having these other aspects, I don't think is such a bad thing. And I don't think that AIOZ is focused on the wrong markets, in my opinion. And also, if we take a look at AIOZ, partnerships historically do include something like NVIDIA, Google for startups, and even Qualcomm as well. So I think that is very impressive. When it comes to AIOZ, it also arguably I would say is focused on NFTs, which I get it. Some people may think, oh, the hype kind of disappeared ever since 2021. Totally understandable to have that type of, thought process, I would arguably say. But I think, there are some projections out there. Like, for instance, most notably, yet again, according to Grandview Research, because, they like to predict things, right? By 2030, they predict that the NFT market is expected to be worth over $200 billion. Again, it's not predicted to be the biggest market out there, but I still think that it's pretty interesting nonetheless. And I think it's kind of a testament to kind of showcase how the NFT market still maybe might have something to showcase itself for, because I think it is actually very revolutionary, but then again, the hype really isn't there. Or should I say, not as much as it was before, but again, I still think it's pretty cool nonetheless. So overall, when I take a look at AIOZ, I think it's a very complete project actually. It's not focused on too many things, but I kind of like its simplicity in the sense that it's focused on some markets out there, which I do really like. But even besides that point, going to the price of $5, considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $6 billion. Now, granted, I'm totally aware that a $6 billion market cap is still over $70 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap back in 2021. So it doesn't even seem that like outlandish to me, but only time will tell. But even besides that, some people like to say, oh, $5 or on a 12x, who cares about that? Well, I actually care because if let's say we just remove that $5, kind of mindset, let's say $2.50 around a 6x from here. Is Ethereum going to do that in the next 6 to 10 months? Is Bitcoin going to do that again in the next 6 to 10 months? I'm not too sure about that. Ethereum going to 10 grand is slightly under a 3x from here. Bitcoin going to 300 grand is slightly less than a 3x from here. I mean, personally for me, if someone asked me AIOZ or Bitcoin or Ethereum, I cannot speak on anyone's behalf, but just in my personal perspective, in my situation, I would have to say AIOZ for me just because, again, even $2.50 is around a 6x. Now, there's no guarantee that it could ever happen, but the way you take a look at it is that if, let's say, it did, I would have to arguably say that even just the idea of it maybe doing that, I would much rather prefer that over Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin recently hit a new all-time high. I mean, that's just not something I would randomly just want to believe in. I mean, imagine if AIOZ recently hit a new all-time high and I suddenly said that, oh, I'm going to go all into AIOZ. That wouldn't even make sense to me either, even though I'm bullish on AIOZ, but this is just my mindset. But even besides that point, I'm going to still stay patient because, quite frankly, that is the only thing I can control. But let's say that Bitcoin dominance does drop, and let's say we do see a fully fledged type of altcoin season. I hypothetically want to be prepared by just holding and just waiting. That's what I'm going to do. Just still dollar cost averaging. I did that before, and I'm still going to do it as of right now. And that's pretty much it because that's the only thing that is, again, within my control. I cannot demand the markets to do this or do that. I cannot demand AIOZ to do this or do whatever. I can't do that. I can only control myself. That's what I'm going to do as of right now. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye. And also, I'll be making more updates when it comes to AIOZ moving forward. So, yeah, I just want to say that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you.